We are here once again with Bill Barna, the project manager out here on this pier. So Bill, can you just give me a quick rundown of what it is you guys have been doing out here up under the pier?
Happy to. So every year we do a comprehensive inspection of the Broad River Fishing Pier for Beaufort County. And that entails a complete above water inspection. And that's what we're doing today. We've got the barge out here with our lift that gives us access underneath so we can get to the underside of the beams and the bottom of the deck. We look at the pile caps and the bearings, and then we also do the underwater inspection. And so when we do the underwater inspection, we dive down, we take a look at every pile from the water line all the way down to the mud line, make sure that the pile is fixed, and we look for any structural defects. So we've done this every year since I believe 2015, and we've taken a lot of notes regarding the structural condition of the pier. And so every year we come back and we look at the defects from the previous year. Have they grown in size? Is there anything that's more structurally significant than it was last year? And essentially what we're doing out here every year is we're just doing another evaluation and looking at what's been the change from year to year. And the most important thing is this structure still safe for people to fish off of?
And is it still safe?
Currently, yes it is. Yes it is, or we would not be standing under it right now.
Right, exactly. So whenever you got your dive fit halfway on, how long does it typically take for you to dive down there and get your inspection?
So the underwater inspection usually takes us about 4 solid days to complete. The water depth ranges anywhere from 0 feet to about 47, 48 feet at low tide out on the furthest pier out. And so you just only spend so much time in the water every day to get it done. The above water inspection usually takes us just 1 day to do it.
And I know you're going to have to stop your inspection a little bit early today because the tide is a little too much. Can you tell us a little bit more in depth about that?
Well, essentially today, just because our schedule got a little shifted this year, normally what we do is we work the incoming tide. And what that allows the barge to do is stem the tide. So the barge is going against the tide as it's coming in, and it allows us to slowly creep up next to the bridge and get us really close. The problem with today is we have the tide ebbing, so the current is pushing the barge into the structure. It makes it very hard for the boat operator to navigate. So what we're going to do is we'll do an all stop on the top side on the barge work. We'll go dive another pier just to get that done, and then once the tide slacks off and starts coming back the other way, then we'll be able to pick up speed and finish up the above water inspection.
And I know you guys are separate from Beaufort County. Can you tell us a little bit more about the relationship with Beaufort County?
Sure. Well, we're with McSweeney Engineers. We're a consulting engineering firm that has been doing waterfront structural consulting for Beaufort County since about 2014. And so we have been tasked every year to come out here and do this comprehensive inspection, as well as other marine facilities in the low country.
Yeah, I know you mentioned you do all the marine facilities here in Beaufort County, correct?
We do the ones that the county asks us to do, but yes, as far as I know, all the recent underwater inspections or marine facility inspections have been conducted by us, yes.
And you've been here for 10 years. What do you kind of see being the future of this pier?
Well, as with any marine structure, any structure in general, this structure has a finite lifespan. It was originally built in, I believe, 1957. So the structure is pretty old. It started out as a Department of Transportation bridge. When they built the new 170 bridge, they left the remaining portion as a fishing pier. So from the state's perspective, this structure was structurally deficient and functionally obsolete. And so it could no longer serve as a highway bridge in the condition that it was. we did a bunch of testing, a bunch of inspection work, did a whole bunch of calculations and analysis, and we said, look, it may not be good for a DOT bridge, but it's suitable for a fishing pier at this point. That said, there's really only so much life that you can squeeze out of a structure, and so part of what we're doing with these safety inspections is just trying to maximize the service life of this structure, to get as much life out of it as we can. Nevertheless, it's still, the structure is nearing the end of its service life. It's really at the end of its service life. And so the future of the pier, there will be a point where it will not be safe to be used as a fishing pier, and a replacement structure would definitely be warranted if there's going to be a fishing pier here. When that exactly is going to occur, when this facility would have to be shut down or rehabbed or rebuilt, is still up in the air, I guess you could say. There hasn't been any finite deadline. Hey, look, the structure's only going to last another year, another 2 year, another 5 years. That's hard to say is exactly how much life we have left, but that's also the reason that we're here every single year, is just to make sure that we're still safe year to year.
Can you go a little bit more in depth about the inspection process, especially the part where you're above water?
Absolutely. So the biggest defect that this pier has, the entire structure, is on the beams themselves, the concrete beams. And what has happened is, over the decades, salt splash has splashed on the bottom of the concrete, and that salt water has just gotten saturated into the concrete. And what happens there is it starts the corrosion process in the rebar, in the reinforcing steel inside the concrete. When the concrete starts to rust, corrode, it expands, it causes high internal stresses in the concrete, and it pops the concrete off. You get a spall. And that's some of the things that you can see up underneath. Is a spall is where you have a missing section of concrete that has broken away from the member. We have some widespread spalling on the pier, and we've got very detailed measurements on all the spalls that are out here, on all the defects. Essentially what we're doing is we're going up there and we're looking at our previous note. We have the dimensions, we have the number of the bars, the depth of the spall, the penetration, all the characteristics. And so we're going up there and we're comparing what we see today with what we've seen last year. And if you see us tapping with the hammer, that's because there's a lot of loose concrete up there that you can't really tell that's loose until you tap it with a hammer. And then by tapping it with the hammer, that if the concrete easily falls away just with a light tap of the hammer, then you know it wasn't good concrete, and that gives us an indication of what the rate of deterioration is doing. Has that spall increased in size and depth and severity? And so that's why we go up. We look at every defect under there, and we usually tap it all with a hammer, see if it's gotten worse. And we take our photographs, take our pictures, and take all of our notes, and once we're done the inspection, we'll go back and look through the previous years of inspection reports, look through our previous notes, and then we try to get an idea of, okay, well, what has been the rate of deterioration on this thing? And our notes are the baseline. That's the guide that we're able to then come back to the county and say, look, this is what's going on with your structure. This is what we recommend that you do.
Great. Well, is there anything else you'd like to mention, or anything else you think is important?
Not necessarily. This is a great resource for Beaufort County. I mean, every time we go out here, I have been out here every time of the year, in almost every weather condition imaginable out here, and there is always multiple people using this structure. So it's a great resource for Beaufort County, and hopefully it'll continue to be so for many more years to come. we'll see what happens with the inspection.
Yeah, it's very, very popular. So thank you for all that you guys do and for coming out and ensuring the safety of everybody who likes to use it.
Well, thank you. I'm glad you came out today.
Of course, thank you. And we will continue our coverage of this segment with the Broad River Pier.